Hello Morocco! I'm here with Johan Tekfak from FRANCAIS AUTHENTIQUE. We're here in Casablanca. He's visiting, preparing some interviews and some content for his business here. He's going to share about his business, his entrepreneurial journey. That's coming right up. So Johan, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your time. Thanks for coming.
Hi Ryan, hi everybody. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, it's great to meet you in person. I've watched a lot of your videos, listened to your podcast, so it's a privilege to meet in person.
Cool, thanks.
And welcome to Morocco. How many times have you been here before?
I think it's the 5th time. So I visited Marrakesh twice and Casablanca 3 times. So it's my 5th time.
All right, and how long are you here for this visit?
1 week. So.
Okay. So can you introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your story, and tell us about FRANCAIS AUTHENTIQUE?
Yes, so I'm Johan Tekfak. I'm 37 years old. I'm living in the northeast of France, and I built the FRANCAIS Authentique platform in 2011 to help people who struggle speaking French. Yes, to support them and break this barrier that a lot of people have. A lot of people can understand French but are not very really able to speak it, right? They block when they have to speak it. They understand a lot of words. A lot of people tell me they understand everything I say in French, but they can't speak. So the mission of FRANCAIS Authentique is to help these people to go from I understand French to the status I am able to speak in French confidently without blocking.
Tell us more about the platform itself. How are people consuming this content?
We have a lot of different possibilities for them. So we have a YouTube channel, which is quite popular. We have a podcast. In the podcast, I teach either an idiom, so every week French idioms. We also have one weekly podcast about personal development stuff. So I will probably, when I'll be back to France, I will probably speak about the trip. So, more general topics that people are interested in. And we have a lot of premium courses as well to help people solve different kind of issues, right? So if they have problem to understand real French content, we can help them, pronunciation courses. So we have different options for people who want to speak French confidently.
Right. So you started in 2011.
Yeah.
It's been 9 years you've built this business. Tell us about how you began.
I bootstrapped it. So I was living in Austria at the time, and I was struggling a lot with German. So I had to learn German. I was struggling learning it because there was a huge difference between what I was learning in the German course with the grammar, vocabulary, a lot of different not concrete stuff, let's say. There was a big difference between what I was learning there and what I listened to every day with real people on the streets. And at the same time, I met a lot of people who could understand French and who couldn't speak it.
Yeah.
And it was, I saw that they had an issue, I had an issue. And when I looked online for solutions, I saw that there were people who were teaching English mainly, but German as well, with the natural methods. So that's that's what gave me the idea. The problem I had to solve, the inspiration I got from Steve Kaufman, by example, and the fact that I saw people that could become my customers, struggling, learning French, and that I could help. And that's what I'm trying to do now.
Yeah. Well, that's an incredible lesson for our listeners to grasp, is that Johan identified a need. He had his personal need, which was learning German in a way that was natural and that was enjoyable, but he translated that into others that were learning French, a language that he speaks as his native tongue. But we don't just start a business because it's fun or because it's one of our passions, but we're solving a problem or we're meeting a need, and that's a big reason why your business has been successful. So where are things at today? Tell us about the current state of FRANCAIS Authentique.
In the last years, we also developed an academy, l'Académie FRANCAIS Authentique, Français Authentique Academy. And it's what we try to do is not only provide content for people to improve their French, but also give them the opportunity to speak and to practice a little bit. So we have private groups, WhatsApp and Facebook, to really try to make them practice the language as well. Right? So that's that's what we are trying to develop.
And it's a community as well. It doesn't just give you the opportunity to practice, but you are around other learners rather than being isolated, just consuming content alone.
It's true, and it gives you a lot of accountability, a lot of, sometimes you have questions that nobody can answer, you cannot find the answer online, and you ask directly to people who have the same issue and who already solved the problem. So it's very interesting for you to learn, to be helped, to help as well. I don't remember. I think it was Einstein who said that the only way to be sure that you understood something is to be able to explain it. So that's how I see it as well in our academy, where the best people can explain concept to make sure that they understood it and to make it a little bit deeper. So that's that's very interesting to have a big community for learners.
Yeah, that's definitely a big value add that comes with the academy. So this is your full-time job?
It is, yes.
When did that happen? Is that something right from 2011 you launched and were an entrepreneur from day one?
Absolutely not. It would have been nice. When I started in 2011 and bootstrapped it, it was really a test, so I had no idea how it would end up. And I was working in the automotive industry at the time as a project manager. And so it was time consuming, so I didn't have a lot of time to really produce content, improve the business, improve the systems. And I did it on the evening, on the weekend, and tried to really use the compound effect, right? To try to continuously improve a little bit every day and not a lot once a week, right? Some people, sometimes they just put a lot of effort on the weekend and nothing the rest of the time. My motto was more, I try to put a little bit of effort and improvement every single day. And it took me 5 years to leave my job. I could have stopped before, but I think I needed the security and the confirmation that it could really work. I was at a quite high-paying job, so that makes the living a little bit more difficult. I had 2 kids, a wife, so that's why it took a little bit of time. But I think after 2 years, I could have stopped my job. I decided to continue, and after 5 years, I saw that I really had to make a choice. Because doing both at the same time wasn't sustainable. So I really had to choose, and the choice was quite clear to me because I really feel more fulfilled with Français Authentique, where I can really help people directly. I have more freedom, so it was an easy choice to do it full time.
So tell us about those 5 years where you're working full time, but also running this side business that slowly over those 5 years is growing and becoming significant. What did it look like? You mentioned evenings and weekends. What were you doing during that time?
Mainly recording content and answering people, because especially at the beginning, if you want to create a successful business and community, you have to listen to the people who are consuming your content. So I spent a lot of time creating content. That's the basics of the concept. But I also spent a lot of time answering the comments, trying to understand the audience. That was my main activity. So that's what I tried to focus on the most. And I started to develop different projects, so creating new courses and these kind of things. But I really decided to do all of this by myself. So I never had partnership, by example, because it is time consuming. So it could have been very interesting for me at the beginning to have other influencers speak about the Français Authentique brand. I never tried these kind of things because of the time. So I really wanted to focus all of my time on the community, the courses and the free content.
So the content, a lot of it is free.
Yeah.
How does that work as a business when you're sharing so much content, these podcasts and regular YouTube videos that you're just giving away for free? Can you explain that from a business perspective?
I think there are a lot of different aspects on this. So if you don't provide anything for free, people cannot find you. So you wouldn't have found me on YouTube if I wouldn't have a YouTube channel. I think it's quite obvious.
Yeah.
So the free content is here to make people aware of your brand. And as soon as you have helped people, there is also this reciprocity aspect. They want to support you as well. They want to follow you on your journey. So that's the first point. The second point is the free content is quite different than my premium content. The premium content is more organized.
Yeah.
People are, it's not only motivation, it's not only concepts that I try to bring. It's really I take them by the hand and we go the step together.
Yeah.
So that's a very important part of it. This organization, they buy the course, they know exactly how to start, how often to study. They can ask questions in the community as well. So that's the biggest difference between the premium and the free content.
Okay, all right. And tell us about kind of the marketing funnel. Is YouTube the biggest way that somebody finds you? And then what's sort of the next step on their connection with you?
So I have always tried to be everywhere. So that's why I have the YouTube channel, the Facebook page, the podcast. Now I also have an Instagram page. It didn't exist in 2011. So that's also something that we should mention, that we have to try new stuff. I tried Snapchat for a while when it was very popular.
Yeah.
So that's also a very interesting thing for an entrepreneur to try the stuff and to see how these new tools can help us improve our message or to give more value.
Yeah.
So the way is people find me through these different platforms.
Yeah.
And then they are brought to my website. My website, francaisauthentique.com, is my home. You can find all my content there, the videos, the podcast, everything,
Yeah.
the transcription. So everything that I say is written. We have it on the website as well. And people, when they go to my website, they can get a free course. It's called the 7 Rules of France Authentique. So I really teach them in 1 week. It's 1 mail per day, the complete France Authentique system. So they give their mail address, they receive the 7 rules, and either they stop, what the majority of the people do, right? They stop here and they continue with the free content or with other materials. Or if they want to go a little bit deeper, they can buy one of my courses that is using the 7 rules that I really teach at the beginning. So that's the model. And a lot of people are joining us through this funnel.
Okay, so you have all these different platforms out there providing free content, and they lead back to your website, and you have an offer there, a free offer, and by exchanging their email address, they receive an email a day from you for a week, and then you can offer to sell them some paid content.
Exactly. So in marketing terms, I think they say it's the A for acquisition, C for conversion, like conversion in terms of mail address. So the acquisition of customers, of our leads through the different platform, the transformation when they give the mail address, and then or the conversion, and the transformation is when you realize the sales. So basically it's typical. There is nothing special in this model. It's typical, and it's the same for all the online businesses.
Yeah, that's right. So tell us more about your connection with Morocco. You are here for your 5th time. You have on your homepage that says, there's a connection to the Academy Moroccan, straight on the homepage, and you've catered some content tailored specifically for this market. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so it's a very interesting story, and it's something that wasn't planned at all. A lot of people that France Authentique is helping are coming from Morocco and Algeria. It's probably 40% of the people that are consuming the free content. They are living either in Morocco or in Algeria.
Yeah.
it's clearly related to our common history. A lot of people in these countries, they are understanding French, but they are not always able to speak it fluently.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the Français Authentique avatar, if you want to call it like this, are coming. So this avatar is speaking to these two countries. The problem of these countries is that they don't have the opportunity to go the next step and buy a course on Français Authentique, because a lot of them don't have an international credit card, right? So they can just pay on dirham or dinar in Algeria. And a lot of people want to. So I received, I created the Français Authentique Maroc in 2019, and between 2011 and 2019, I received really thousands of emails of people who really wanted to buy the course but couldn't, right?
Yeah.
So that gave me the idea of opening a company here in Morocco. It was the first step.
Okay, so what is the Academy Moroccan, the Moroccan Academy?
It is a platform where people, so it's a premium platform, people pay a monthly subscription, and when they do, they get premium content. So every month they get new modules. So we have videos that speaks about a lot of different topics: personal development, culture, history, really a lot of different topics with a video and a lot of different MP3 and PDF that explain a lot of words and of concepts. So when they join, they have a big store of previous modules that they can consume right away. Every single month they receive a new module, and we have two very interesting things for them: the private Facebook group where people can exchange, ask questions, and really communicate directly with me or with people of my team. The problem on the Français Authentique Facebook page is that we have too much people. It's almost 400,000 people on the page, and it's not very sustainable for us to really help them directly. But in the academy we have this service, so all the questions are answered either by me or by people from my team. And what is much more successful in Morocco, especially because I have another academy for the whole world, but in Morocco what they love is the Telegram group. We have a Telegram group where every day we have a topic and everybody can write, but mainly put some audio messages, and that gives them the opportunity to listen and to speak. So that's, to me, the next step, because that's what was lacking from the previous experience, right? You consume your content. If you have a question, you can ask on Facebook, but here they can really speak.
Right.
And especially for Moroccan, it is important because a lot of them, they just need, this. They already know how to speak. They just need this practice and this environment where they feel safe. And every single day we have a lot of messages that are very interesting. So that's my favorite part of the Moroccan Academy.
Yeah, what an incredible amount of value, because as you said, people know a lot of French. They're not looking to tweak their grammar. They're looking to be able to express themselves. So you mentioned for 5 years, this was a part-time side hustle for you before you went full-time. Was it an overnight success? Was it something you could see was going to work from day one? Or was there a lot of putting out content and not seeing the results you were hoping for?
I don't really believe in overnight successes, right? So all overnight successes are built on very solid foundation and hard work. And it was not different for me, really. Français Authentique was struggling at the beginning, but I very soon had the impression that it could work. So that, when you publish something and you don't have a lot of comment, but the majority of the comment tells you that you are solving a problem, then you can already understand that you can help a lot of people, and it's just a matter of scaling, right? So it was very long to really be sustainable and successful, but from the beginning I had this intuition that it could work. But at the beginning it's very frustrating. You spend hours creating content, putting it online, and you refresh and you see that 2 people saw it and one of them is you, so it's very, very frustrating.
And the other one's my mom. So.
Exactly, something like that. So it's frustrating, but yes, if I think the sign has to be I have people who tell me that I'm solving their problem. That's to me that's really the sign that you have something. And nowadays, it wasn't that big issue in 2011, but nowadays, when you have people give you their mail address, it's also a sign that you are solving a problem, because we all have too much mails. We don't want to give our mail address to everybody, so it is becoming a very interesting sign to get mail addresses, because it shows that you have something to offer.
Okay, well that's great advice for young entrepreneurs, young people who started a digital business. They're not seeing the results that they hope for, but there's these little encouragements. The comments are telling them they're solving a problem. And even just somebody exchanging their email address is an affirmation that they're doing the right thing, they're meeting a need.
Exactly, that's to me the first success. Then I would say for young entrepreneurs, it's very interesting to test the concept as soon as possible with the MVP, so mini viable product, the product that you could produce very quickly. It has to be a quality product. It doesn't mean it has to be something that you that doesn't provide quality, but quality product, very short, that you can sell at a low price to make sure that you have customers. Because as long as you don't have customers, you don't have any business, right? You can have 50,000 people that follow you on Instagram. It's not a business when you don't sell anything.
Yeah, that's right. You are primarily a solopreneur, but you did mention your team. Can you tell us a bit about who you have helping you?
Yeah. I made the mistake of trying to do all by myself. That's, like as you said, all the solopreneurs that start and that try to bootstrap the business, they do everything by themselves. So I shooted the first YouTube video alone. I edited them for years. I created the first website that was ugly, but that was working. After a while, I thought, okay, my job is to provide value, like I just said. And if I spread all my efforts to these different tasks, it won't work. So I won't bring as much value as if I would only focus on this. And that's why I started it was I think 2016, I started to, maybe end of 2015, I started to work with people. I think it's when you start to have a real business, when you have to manage people. So now my job is to manage the team and provide value. But it's a lot of work to create the systems, to make sure that everything is working well. And it's also something very interesting to do. So I really like this aspect of the business.
Yeah, that's a huge challenge. You need to bootstrap. You've got to ship the minimum viable product to begin to even prove that you have a business, unless you've got really deep pockets and can fund everything yourself. But eventually you realize I can't do everything, and if I want to grow this business, I need to focus on the value that only I can bring.
Exactly.
Tasks.
And nowadays especially, so I think it was still okay in 2011 to shoot videos, not even with a cell phone or smartphone, but with it was a small photo camera without mic, anything. It wouldn't be acceptable anymore in 2020, right? So the competition is bigger. There are a lot of people who are providing similar content. So you have to provide quality work, and it wouldn't be possible to do it all by yourself. So that's why you need, when you achieve a certain level, you need to outsource these kind of tasks.
How do you decide how to manage your time? In your content, you often include your wife, you have a couple of kids, but you seem to live a really balanced life despite the fact that you've built this really large business. Can you give us some advice about that?
I think I'm a little bit crazy like you with the power of habits and this kind of stuff. So it's one of my hobby, and I love reading about habits building and productivity. I say we are crazy because my wife is often telling me that I'm crazy.
Yes, I hear that too.
But I think it's it's helpful to be organized, to have clarity, to plan your week. It wouldn't have been possible for me to do both my job and Français Authentique without this structure. So I really had, I plan my day, I plan my week, I know what I will do. I try to become a little bit more flexible, but when I had both activities, it was, I thought about the planning once a week and that's it. So nothing could change it. Because it was really too much work for one person. Now I try to be a little bit more flexible, even if I'm not really. But I have systems. I have personal systems. I have systems for the company so that everybody know what he has to do when, so everything is clear. For the content, by example, we have a content plan. When I put the episode, the people when they have to deliver what, so we are very organized in the company. And I have a personal organization as well, so I have a yearly goal and I have a yearly calendar. I already know when I will travel in the first month of the year. I have monthly goals that I want to achieve to reach the yearly goal, and every single week I plan my week. So I have a board at home and I just write 4 tasks for the day, 4 big rocks. And I also have recurring tasks like shooting video. So it's every first Tuesday of every month is video shooting. Second Tuesday is podcast shooting. So I try to build this kind of organization. It's not for everybody, but I think I'm the kind of person who need this, and it proved to work. So I'm very, very happy to do it. Every Friday I plan the week after, and when I arrive at the office on Monday morning, I don't have to wonder for 2 hours what I will do. I know, and I do it right away. So you don't have to have motivation, right? Because everything is written. You just have to execute. And I try to separate the Johan who is planning with the Johan who will execute, just like it would be two different persons.
Okay, and I love your comment about the reduced need for motivation when you've built a plan, you've built a system, and you have the habit of doing it. It's not a decision you're making. You just show up and you execute, which is how habits really work, and then it doesn't require motivation to continue.
Exactly.
It's so powerful. So in the 9 years you've been on a content producing schedule, have you ever missed? Has there been weeks with no video, no podcast?
So no, and this plan, I think I built it when I started with the team, so 5 years ago. At the beginning it was more, it was not a real habit, but I never missed a week. So it was really, I have always wanted to keep this habit. And now it would be much easier for me. It is much easier for me to do it than it would be not to do. So 1 week without creating any content would feel so strange that I would have to do it. So that's the power of habit that you're mentioning.
Yeah, there's a lot of people who would love to have an online business, to have passive income, to have digital products that were bringing money into their pockets without them having to do anything. But then recognizing you've been recording a weekly podcast for 9 years and weekly YouTube video, there's over 450 pieces of content on each of those platforms. That sounds like you've earned it. You've put in the work, you've put in the time to build this business. So definitely,
and it is the compound effect that you mentioned before as well, because now it seems it seems a lot when I check the YouTube channel. I see all these videos. It seems a lot, but when you do it once a week, 1 week at a time, it's easy. Actually, who cannot find several hours to shoot one YouTube video per week?
Right.
Everybody can do it. So that's the power of habit and of the compound effect, that you don't have to put a lot of effort if you do it regularly. And I'd rather do it every week than waiting 1 month and doing everything at the same time.
Well, Johan, thank you so much for
Thank
your
you.
time. It's been great to hear about your business. Thanks for being really open about your entrepreneurial journey. And we're excited that you're here in Morocco, that you're investing in the country here, and we're looking forward to seeing that continue and increase over the years. All right, so if you want to improve your level of French to further your career, make sure you check out Français Authentique. If you haven't already, you can consume tons of free content, listen to the podcast on the bus, you can be watching YouTube videos. But if you want to take it to the next level, join the Academy and be part of the community of Moroccans that are improving their French by practicing, by listening, and by speaking together. Until next time, get wisdom.